Good evening, hello and welcome. You're with the news today. This is your prime time destination. News, newsmakers, talking points. Our big talking point is there a plot at the moment to target trains in the country? Train sabotage charge backed by proof? We'll be telling you more on that story in a moment. Also among my special guests tonight, the man who hopes probably to become the next Chief Minister of Jammu and Kashmir, Omar Abdullah, will be joining me in an exclusive interview from my trip in the valley. But first, as always, it's time for the 9 headlines at 9. Manipur is on the boil once again. Protests turned violent in the capital Imphal. 5-day internet shutdown imposed. Schools, colleges to be shut for 2 days. Rapid action force is now deployed. Doctors remain on the warpath against the Mamata Banerjee government in West Bengal. Junior doctors defy the Supreme Court's return to work diktat. Bengal government reaches out, but doctors stand firm. Sack the health secretary first and the police commissioner. Rahul Gandhi triggers another storm in the United States, claims anti-Sikh bias by the Modi government. BJP hits out at the leader of the opposition, rakes up 1984 anti-Sikh riots. Another train derailment bid averted, this time in Rajasthan's Ajmer. Cement blocks placed on the railway tracks. An ISIS link emerges to the Kanpur train plot. Centre claims 18 train sabotage cases recorded since the 1st of August. Shocking hit and run by a luxury car driven by a Maharashtra BJP chief's son injures 2 in Nagpur. His son fled the scene. 2 accused arrested so far. Devendra Fadnavis backs the BJP state chief. Baramulla MP engineer Rashid granted interim bail by a Delhi court. He was arrested under the stringent UAPA, will be released until October 2nd to campaign in the Jammu and Kashmir polls. Another man-eater wolf nabbed in Uttar Pradesh's Barej. 5 of the 6 predator wolves now captured under Operation Bhedia. 35 villages remain on high alert. Another crisis for the Aam Aadmi Party government in Delhi. BJP now wants president's rule, claiming governance paralyzed with Arvind Kejriwal lodged in jail. AAP claims a bid to topple the government. Monsoon mayhem rages on in Andhra Pradesh. Vijayawada inundated by torrential rainfall. Chief Minister Chandrababu Naidu takes stock of the flooded areas. But the story that's breaking at the moment, an Indian Air Force officer has accused the senior wing commander of rape. The female officer has alleged rape, harassment at a Jammu and Kashmir Air Force base and filed an FIR at the police station, claiming that no action was being taken. The police have now booked the wing commander for aggravated rape under Section 376(2) of the Indian Penal Code. The Indian Air Force has ordered an internal inquiry after the female flying officer alleged rape, mental harassment and continuous stalking by a wing commander of an Air Force station in Jammu and Kashmir. Joining me now for the very latest is Shivani Sharma. She tracks the Defence Ministry for us. Shivani, what more details can you give us on what exactly has happened?
Rajdeep, this case has come in light when a case has been registered in the Badgam police station of Srinagar, where a female flying officer of the Indian Air Force has alleged rape, sexual harassment and also stalking onto a senior wing commander of the same Air Force station. And this incident is of 31st of December 2023. That means it's not a fresh incident, but the FIR has been registered now, and the FIR has been registered under the Section 376 Clause 2. That means that this was an aggravated rape. That means this has been done and committed by a person in authority. So in this case, this was a young flying officer, a female flying officer, and the wing commander happens to be a senior to her. They were the statement in the FIR says that this incident happened after a New Year's party on 31st of December. And
but
now
then why?
Has said
but then
that,
Shivani, if it happened on 31st of December, why is the FIR being filed now in September? I read a report that suggested that the officer claimed that no one was acting on it within the services. That's why she went to the police.
Rajdeep, the Air Force has not given out the details onto what action it took, but when we asked, responding to our questions, the Air Force has said that an internal inquiry has already been ordered. The investigations are going on, and also that the Budgam police has already approached the Indian Air Force station there in Srinagar regarding this whole investigation, and the Indian Air Force says that it will be cooperating in the investigation. It's a big question that why it took so long for the FIR to be lodged. Did the female officer did not she approached the police late, or was she waiting for an internal inquiry to get into action? So that needs to be checked and answered by the Indian Air Force. But as of now, the investigations have already started within the Air Force and by the police also in Budgam.
Okay, Shivani Sharma joining us with that very latest, that unfortunate piece of news there coming in at the moment. The police have now booked the wing commander for alleged rape, is what we are learning. An IF officer accusing her wing commander of rape at a station in Jammu and Kashmir. Let me turn from another piece of breaking news and more troubling news that's coming in, this time from the state of Manipur, where tensions have heightened. Schools and colleges now will be shut for 2 days. A 5-day internet shutdown has been imposed. Manipur University has cancelled the PG-UG university exams, and the NIA is now to probe the drone attacks that have taken place in Manipur in the past 10 days. Drone and rocket attacks have taken place there. I'm joined by our correspondent Ashutosh Mishra, who's one of the few correspondents who's there live at the moment there in Imphal. Ashutosh, is the situation coming under control? Curfew was in place. We are seeing images this morning of protests taking place. We'll play more of those visuals at the moment, but is the situation now calm and under control or not?
If you're asking about situation under control, yes, it is under control. But it is calm? Absolutely not. This remains highly tense. And Rajdeep, let me tell you,
is yet again back on the same situation. In the foothill areas, in the peripheral areas of the valley and the hills, there's a violent clashes between the communities. Number of people, nearly 11 people have been killed so far from September 1. There are reports of a drone, the aerial bombing through drones, the long-range rockets are being fired. And here in the valley, what we are seeing, the intensified protest by the local groups. In fact, the Kokomi, the largest group, has even issued a warning for the central forces, either act against the Kuki insurgents or leave Manipur. So amidst of all that, they have been trying to gherao the governor's house, the CM house. Today, when the protest started, that also led to the stone pelting on the police. In fact, the protesters overpowered police in a way that they had to even retreat. So it was a violent clashes, and literally amidst of all that, the government, the curfew relaxation that was issued for nearly a year now, that has been withdrawn. So that simply means now there's a curfew in place, and exactly right behind me, one of the most busiest road is totally deserted. Even the university exam for the undergraduates and postgraduates have been cancelled. The internet has been suspended across the valley. In the meanwhile, the top police officials have said the reports of drone, they are collecting scientific evidence, forensic evidence, and they will seek NIA probe to ensure a higher level probe. But amidst of all that, this looks like situation escalating, and because of the anticipatory and the preventive measures are being taken, including curfew imposition and internet bans, it all itself indicates that this could be just a beginning what we are seeing in Manipur.
Okay, we'll keep a track on what's happening. In fact, Ashutosh Mishra is reporting from Manipur, the latest story being the casualty in the violence that's taken place between Meitei and Kuki communities is a former soldier who was allegedly abducted and killed after he crossed the so-called buffer zone between Churachandpur and Imphal, areas divided between the Kuki and the Meitei communities. Ashutosh Mishra has tonight's ground report.
Manipur on the boil. Students took out a protest march in Imphal on Tuesday over the escalation in hostilities between Meitei and Kuki communities. The protest turned violent as students' attempt to march towards the governor's residence was foiled by the police.
The protest is escalating. Now from the other side, here you see the tear shells are being fired. The police is trying to contain and control the situation.
The Biren Singh government has imposed curfew in all the 5 valley districts of Manipur. Internet is banned in the state till Sunday.
We appeal to them not to indulge in violence, and it is very counterproductive. So we appeal to the students to do it in a peaceful manner. And some vested interest groups are instigating this. We are monitoring all these things.
The state is on the edge ever since fresh clashes between the Meitei and Kuki communities broke out this month, killing over 10 people from both sides. On Monday, the body of a former soldier was found in the valley near Segmai in Imphal West District. Lim Kholal Mate, a former Havaldar in the Assam regiment, was a resident of Modbang in Kangpokpi.
I just see the videos and I just know
You saw his picture, the video.
a video tape of him dead, found, and then I just know that it was my father.
According to the complaint filed by the police, Lim Kholal Mate was kidnapped allegedly by the Meitei armed group Arambai Tengol on Sunday.
As per the FIR and as per the complaint, El Methi on the evening by mistaken crossed over the buffer zone area and he reached to the other side where he was allegedly abducted and beaten to death as per the FIR.
The two communities have set up checkposts near the buffer zone to control entry and exits.
अगर कोई कुकी नीचे चला गया मेते इलाकों में क्या होगा?
उन लोग वो माल डालता है ना, इसलिए हम लोग इधर चेक किया. हम लोग का आदमी भी इधर चेक किया है और मेते भी घुसना नहीं देता है. हम लोग भी उधर नहीं घुसता है.
The only solution now is the separate administration. We have our own separate administrations. They have their own separate administration. Then only peace will be prevailed. There is no other option at all. This is the only solution.
The current spell of violence has also seen drone and grenade attacks by alleged Kuki militant groups on Meitei villages. The Committee on Tribal Unity that represents Kukis declares they will defend their land and opposes the state government's proposal to take complete charge of security.
So the first point is anything that is to do with the state government of Manipur, the Kuki youth will not accept. That is one. And the other point is that in any eventuality of attack or atrocities that's meted us, we will respond in the same.
For the last 16 months, Meiteis have been mostly confined to the valley and Kukis to the hills. The divide between the two communities has only deepened with no signs of any healing. With Ashutosh Mishra, Bureau Report, India Today.
Troubling scenes there from Imphal, and more trouble because another train derailment attempt has been foiled. A day after an LPG cylinder, petrol bombs and matchsticks were found on a Kanpur train track, an attempt to derail a train in Rajasthan's Ajmer was thwarted after cement blocks were found placed on the railway tracks. There's a suspected involvement of the ISIS in Kanpur's train sabotage. More in this report. Take a look.
September 8, Ajmer in Rajasthan. September 8, Kanpur in Uttar Pradesh. September 4, Solapur in Maharashtra. India's trains are being targeted serially. A goods train in Rajasthan's Ajmer had a close shave after hitting massive cement blocks weighing 70 kgs, which were put on the tracks. Rajasthan government has formed an SIT to probe the incident.
इसमें मुकदमा दर्ज कर लिया गया है 173/24, 150, 152 रेलवे एक्ट और 3 PDP एक्ट में। एसएचओज उच्च अधिकारी मौके पे हैं, बाकी टीमें गठित कर दी गई हैं इन शरारती तत्वों का पता करने के लिए। पता लगते ही शीघ्र गिरफ्तारी भी की जाएगी।
The same modus operandi was used in Solapur on September 4, when a mammoth concrete slab was placed on the railway track. But loco pilot of the train fortunately saw the concrete and applied brakes in time, thereby averting a collision and saving lives. Meanwhile, sources say the anti-terrorism squad investigating the bid to derail Kalindi Express in Kanpur suspect the role of the Khorasan module of ISIS. In the Kanpur attack bid, a gas cylinder was placed on the track, but an alert loco pilot applied brakes on time, softening the impact. Kanpur police has questioned more than 100 suspects so far. At least 30 suspects have been taken into custody.
यूपी पुलिस के जो विभिन्न इकाई है, स्पेशल एजेंसीज, वो सभी लोग काम कर रहे हैं। आरपीएफ और आरपीएफ के साथ जितने भी स्टेक होल्डर्स है वो भी हमारे साथ है। कुछ लोगों को हम लोग चिन्हित किए हैं, बहुत जल्दी इसमें कार्रवाई होगा।
The government came out with data revealing that 18 cases of train sabotage have taken place since August 1st and 24 train attacks in just 2 years. Are terror groups trying to bleed India now using trains used by lakh of passengers daily? Bureau Report, India Today.
So let's raise some troubling questions at the moment. Is there a plot to target our trains? Is the sabotage charge that is being made now backed by solid proof? Should the government wait for the probe to be complete? Will hasty theories now only spread panic? What's the truth? Lalit Chandra Trivedi is former GM Railways, Chairman Rail Division India. We'll be joined shortly by Sudhanshu Mani, creator of the Vande Bharat Express. Ashok Kumar is former Uttarakhand DG. I want to come to you, Lalit Kumar ji, because 18 such incidents reported just in the last 6 weeks. Could it be a coincidence, or do you suspect that this is part of a wider plot?
Rajdeep, till such time the inquiry is completed. You see, in railways, the security of the tracks is primarily with GRP. With railway RPF force, there are two wings of security, RPF and GRP. RPF is for the protection of the railway property and GRP is for the law and order. So all these incidents come under state police, which has a wing of GRP under its control. Now the investigation and connecting the dots among the various, because they are spread over a bigger area from Maharashtra to UP and Rajasthan, so the role of NIA will also come in, because the state police role will not be possible for them to. GRP is a very skeleton force, and you see primarily in the railways. How do you see normally these obstacles are noted by the train driver? In fact, the very purpose of two crews exchanging all right signals when they cross each other, they certify to each other that there is no obstacle on the track. But what happens between the two trains? All these culprits can always find a gap of 15 or 20 minutes where they can put such obstacles.
No, but is it unusual? Is it unusual, sir, to have 18 such incidents being reported in just the space of 5 weeks or not?
Certainly, it is unusual and it needs to be investigated and dots needs to be corrected.
Okay. Let me just take that to Sudhanshu Mani, creator of the Vande Bharat Express. Mr. Mani, are you also surprised at the manner in which these almost every week we are reporting a couple of instances where, whether it's a cement block today, LPG gas cylinder are being reported found on railway tracks that could cause potential huge amounts of destruction and derailment? Are you surprised?
No, okay, I'm surprised, but let me correct this list of these 18. If you have seen that list, you know, there are cases of juvenile criminality, of mischief makers trying to make U-tubes. There are cases of stone pelting on glass. There are cases of protests. All those are listed in that 18. So let's not go by the list. The recent two cases of the cement block and the LPG cylinder do appear to be serious. So I'm no one to say that it doesn't look like sabotage first, because investigating agencies are looking into it. It is beyond the domain of railways. NIA is also looking into it apart from other investigating agency. Let them do their job. I will put one caveat that in previous all such cases till now, we have not been able to establish one case of sabotage. We have to keep that in mind. So we will wait for their investigation. Then two more things, if you have time.
Go ahead.
Right from the time when Balasore happened and a recent accident in Gonda, railwaymen have a tendency to jump to point to sabotage. It is in a way trying to diffuse their own responsibility. I'm saying it with full responsibility. And, nothing was found in Balasore. There was this furor about a mosque nearby and so on. It was not a mosque. That's what we found out. In Gonda, there was railway officials saying that they heard a loud noise. Loud noise can always happen when there is a derailment. That was also not found to be a case of sabotage, as the police indicated later on. So what I'm trying to say, this is also a case where there is a tendency now to diffuse the responsibility of railways towards sabotage. I'm not saying it is not sabotage. Let investigating agencies find out. And if they do find out that it's a case of sabotage or terrorism, then it's a very serious matter.
Okay, so you're saying don't jump to hasty conclusions just yet. Allow the investigation to complete. Ashok Kumar ji, former Uttarakhand DG, you worked at times with the railways. Is that a fear that there is panic setting in? If today the government is releasing details to say there are 18 instances, as Sudhanshu Mani pointed out, some of them could be miscreants, some of them could have some more diabolical agendas. Should we be more careful before immediately saying sabotage?
See, this exactly immediately we cannot say, but we go by indications, we go by symptoms. So the indications of these two incidents especially are very, very dangerous. I mean, they all point out towards the sabotage theory. We cannot rule out the sabotage theory. Only thing is, finally, the outcome will have to be decided by the investigating agency. They will come out with some evidences, proofs.
Right.
But indications are like this, that why is there the cylinder is there? Why the matchbox is there? Why the explosive is there? And that also in a
Also what is being found, Lalit Chandra Trivedi, specific routes. We've seen a couple of instances close in and around Kanpur, and that is the worrying part. There could be some local gangs operating. That's all unclear at the moment. How soon can an investigation of this nature actually reach a conclusion, given how wide the railway network of this country is?
You see, most of the territory of the railways is not covered by CCTV. It's not like airport where each and every corner of the even the railway stations are not they're having gaps. They're not hermetically sealed like airports. So the security in railway premises, particularly beyond the railway station, what we call the wayside area, is really difficult. And the only institution we really depend for avoiding such cases are the gangmen, the patrolmen who are. And whenever the police gives us a lead that there are some vulnerable areas, they get some information that some terrorists or some such activities likely to be there, then we resort to track patrolling, security patrolling. There is also a case when such cases occur in large numbers in Naxalite infested areas. When during one of my posting, we used to run a goods train ahead of a mail express train. So as to avoid, so we have various institutional mechanisms to avoid.
No, but how easy is it? How easy is it to ensure that these tracks are sabotage free, given the large nature of our network? Is it possible to be completely foolproof?
No, not at all.
Not at all. So, Sudhanshu Mani, is that the worry? That as Lalit Chandra Trivedi, who's been a former GM Railway, says, in a country with a network as wide as ours, how do you ensure greater security against potential saboteurs?
Yes. So yes, potential saboteurs can really cause damage. Solace is that not many such cases have happened in last decade or more. That we have to bear that in mind. We keep shouting sabotage, but we don't find that. But if there is somebody bent upon doing that, then it's very difficult to protect it by railwaymen and railway patrolling. It has to be an intelligence-based effort, because you cannot just patrol the track in Wayside Station. Our patrolman goes, trackman goes once a day at night. Even police cannot keep on patrolling it. So it has to be intelligence based, and that's why I'm saying it's beyond the domain of railways. It's a law and order or anti-terrorist kind of activity in which intelligence agencies have to really contribute.
But there is the larger worry, of course. I don't want to, do we separate this from the accidents that have taken place in recent weeks? There have been accidents or recent months, there have been accidents that have been troubling, so-called consequential train accidents, which are those that have serious repercussions. And I'm looking at 2016 now to 2022, 23. Every year, we are finding a fair number of these accidents. Should that be the real focus? Not all of them are linked to sabotage. Some of them are linked to derailments. And that should be equally troubling, surely, Mr. Mani.
No, let me correct you. If I'm not wrong, not even one of them is linked to sabotage, established sabotage.
That's right.
So it's not all, it's not. So that's also important. So the safety has to be detached from this. These are worrying incidents. Let intelligence agencies and security agencies do their job, find the culprits. But the safety of railways is another matter which needs more focus, as we have discussed earlier in your program after those accidents. Kavach, artificial intelligence, improvement in track maintenance, funds are not a problem. So that needs, that's another focus area. I don't think we have to link it with this sabotage.
We have to separate the need for anti-collision devices like Kavach, which will guard against derailments, separate them from the suspected sabotage. Mr. Ashok Kumar, how long do you think an investigation of this kind would take? There's already now reports that ISIS is being suspected. The NIA will come into it. Should this be, should there be greater calm, as is being suggested by Sudhanshu Mani and even by our former GM, that let's be a little bit, Lalit Trivedi, a little calm. Ashok Kumar ji, am I right? That we don't need to jump to conclusions just yet and say ISIS is involved.
See, we don't need to jump to conclusions. That's very right, Mr. Sardeep. But we cannot, be calm. If such things are happening, we have to be on the alert. We have to have our best agencies on the job.
How long would an investigation like this take in your view?
Sometimes it happens within 2-3 days, and sometimes it will take 2-3 months. It's all about how the case is cracked, how many leads we have.
But this whole thing of blaming ISIS instantly, we are still not clear where ISIS is coming. Do you really think ISIS could be involved in this?
See, I don't know. I cannot say as of now, because ISIS philosophy of lone wolf attack, that can point out to these things, but we cannot say as of now, because unless the investigation is over. Secondly, ISI has a track of having sleeper cells and masterminding such things. I was with SP Railways in 2000 in Moradabad, and in the whole belt we used to have 2-3 cases of this cutting of railway tracks. That time also, it was suspected that ISI modules could be there.
So you're saying there is a suspicion that ISI modules could be there, but as all our guests are warning, let's not jump to conclusions. That would only spread panic.
We cannot jump to conclusion unless there is a
fair
proof.
enough. And I think that's why we have to be very careful. Yes, these instances are troubling. They need to be investigated. Yes, Mr. Mani, a final word.
One last point. You see, the second accident of the concrete block has happened in a DFC section, which is only goods train. A serious terrorist wants to cause damage to human lives. So I'm still, again, not saying anything. Let investigating agencies find out, but it's unlikely that they would try to derail a goods train.
Okay, point taken. I think there are very, very wise cautionary words there. I appreciate my guests joining me on that troubling story that we are reporting. Let's turn from there to our top political story. And once again, Rahul Gandhi making all the headlines. The leader of the opposition's visit to the United States continues to trigger storm after storm, this time over his allegation of an anti-Sikh bias in India under the Modi government. His statements have drawn huge flack from the BJP, which reminded him and the Congress of their role in the 1984 Sikh riots in Delhi. Take a look at what Rahul Gandhi really said and how the BJP responded.
The fight is about whether he, as a Sikh, is going to be allowed to wear his turban in India. Or he, as a Sikh, is going to be allowed to wear a kada in India. Or he as a Sikh is going to be able to go to a Gurdwara. That's what the fight is about. And not just for him. For all religions.
At least in India, the only time when Sikhs have felt a certain anxiety or insecurity and faced an existential threat was when statements were made कि बड़ा पेड़ अगर गिरता है तो धरती हिलती है. This is as close a justification to targeting of minority communities as I've ever seen in my life.
Okay, let's turn then to our top election story. Election campaigning gatherings team in Jammu and Kashmir, which goes to the polls for the first time in 10 years next week. I was in Kashmir over the weekend where I spoke to the person who has been a former Chief Minister of Jammu and Kashmir and may hope to become the Chief Minister again. But Omar Abdullah made it very clear that although he had earlier decided not to contest the polls, his decision eventually to contest from 2 seats is because he says his sole aim is to ensure Jammu and Kashmir gets its statehood again. He's not gunning for the Chief Ministership, but for statehood. Listen in to Omar Abdullah. So you're contesting the elections, Mr. Omar Abdullah, after all your protestations that until Kashmir is made a state
no,
again,
I never
you were
said
not
that.
going to contest.
I never said that.
You never said that?
I never put the context of state or 370.
Okay, can I quote, put a couple of quotes to you? 10 June, interview to PTI. No, I am not contesting the assembly elections.
No, I'm not saying
I will not fight a UT election. I'm absolutely clear on that. 7th August. No, I'm not contesting. I have made it very clear. The CM of the once most empowered state. I can't see myself in a position where I have to ask the LG for appointing a peon.
A lot of inputs from people I don't know. Who reached out randomly by email, by message, conversations with colleagues. I realized that perhaps the position I took was wrong in as much as it was perhaps hypocritical.
So you've changed your mind?
Well, obviously, otherwise I wouldn't be filing. How do I expect the people of Jammu and Kashmir to repose faith in an assembly that I'm not willing to repose faith in? This is not the assembly we want. But this is definitely a step towards the assembly that we want. The assembly that we want will flow from this one.
Because you've said in the past, in 2019, that it's a disempowered assembly. Now, more recently, you said it's a union territory and that's unacceptable. You're saying people have made you change your mind.
Well,
but are you really hopeful of change, that one election can change the ground realities in Jammu and Kashmir?
One election can change everything. A bad assembly election in 2014, which put the BJP and the PDP in power, changed everything for Jammu and Kashmir. One election in Delhi that gave the BJP the majority that they needed in 2019 changed everything for Jammu and Kashmir. Why should we assume that this election can't change things? Of course it will. We have commitments from people like the Prime Minister and the Home Minister on the floor of the House in Parliament saying that Jammu and Kashmir will be given back its statehood undiluted. We have commitments from the Government of India in the Supreme Court saying exactly the same thing. So as I said, this assembly is not the assembly we want, but the assembly we want will flow from this one.
Are you now saying restoration of Article 370 is no longer on the agenda?
Absolutely not. It is very much on the agenda. It's the first item that we've talked about in our manifesto. But we also realize that it's not going to come from this assembly. It's a long struggle. It's a struggle that is going to take time. It's a struggle that will probably require at least one change of government in the centre. So what we have promised people and what our manifesto has said is that we're going to keep the issue alive. We're going to talk about it. But statehood, definitely. And what I have said about a resolution from the J&K Assembly is not about a 370 or 35A or statehood. I've said that the Assembly should pass a resolution saying that we do not accept what was done to us on the 5th of August 2019, that the people were not a part of that decision. The ones who since 2019 have been doing nothing but telling the world that the people of Jammu and Kashmir are really happy with what happened on the 5th of August 2019, that life has got so much better, and that there's nothing but unanimous approval for it, at least we'll debunk that once and for all.
Even if you were to become the Chief Minister of Jammu and Kashmir, would you agree that you will be a very disempowered Chief Minister?
The government gave no extra powers to the Lieutenant Governor. Those powers were already vested with the Lieutenant Governor. All the government did was to clarify or to codify how those powers would be exercised, given that they knew elections would be coming. But otherwise what they did is simply what was in the J&K Reorganization Act, which again is something that we don't agree with. But
that's right. So they have, through the J&K Reorganization Act, as and when a new state assembly is set up, you will still be far more disempowered than you
compared
were.
To what? Well,
compared to pre-2019.
Well, obviously, that goes without saying.
So therefore, are you worried that the Chief Minister will be just a titular Chief Minister?
No. Well, initially, the powers of the Chief Minister will be a lot more limited than we'd like to see. But as I said, that we believe is going to be a very temporary phase because statehood and full statehood has to be restored to Jammu and Kashmir. If we don't get it willingly, we'll go to the Supreme Court.
Omar Abdullah, in your manifesto, you've also spoken about revival of the autonomy resolution that was passed in 2000 by your party when your father was the Chief Minister, which was rejected incidentally by Atal Bihari Vajpayee's government. Are you calling for a restoration of that autonomy? Because that again becomes a prickly issue. It involves whose flag is it? Is it the state flag? Is it the national flag?
It is our political ideology. It is our political agenda. We are not ready to surrender it. Our manifesto is to remind people that the National Conference is committed to its political ideology. We are not surrendering it. That said, I think it's a bit unfair for anyone to focus purely on two sentences or two paragraphs in a manifesto that touches upon every aspect of people's lives. I know the temptation for the wider audience in the rest of the country is to just focus on these political issues of the National Conference. But our manifesto goes much further than that.
The centre says, look, we've got J&K Bank back on track. This was a bank destroyed by the Abdullahs when they were in power.
Absolutely not.
They speak about tourism. Say, look, we had 21 million tourists last year. We are breaking all records. Think about what happened when the Abdullahs were in power. They say about, look at Kashmir, it's far more peaceful now. There was stone pelting that would take place when the Abdullahs were in power or the Muftis were in power. So there are two narratives. There's the narrative of the Abdullahs, there's the narrative of the BJP.
Well, no, I think it doesn't matter. This narrative is not of the Abdullahs. You are playing into the hands of the BJP when you do this.
Who, me?
Yes, you. When the questioning is all about one family versus a party. It's not. The National Conference is a political party that has received a mandate from the people in elections. So it is a National Conference government. It's not an Abdullah government. It's a PDP government. It's not a Mufti government. It was a PDP-BJP government.
We want to rid Kashmir in a way of family Raj.
By all means, try. Who stops them? They've tried their level best to destroy the National Conference after 2019 and so far seem to have failed miserably. Let's see what the people think.
Are you going to say nothing has changed for the good in the last 5 years?
Well, other than the fact that this government, through whichever means they have used, have effectively marginalized separatist voices, I am reluctant to give them credit for anything else. Because on the one hand, Kashmir has been what it is. You've still had violence, you've still had terror, you've had targeted attacks against minorities, you had an exodus of minorities for the first time after the early 90s. That is Kashmir. You've opened up a new front in Jammu. The elected government, when it comes here, is going to have a huge problem on its hands, restoring the situation in Jammu to what it was when we left it in 2014. The sort of attacks you see today in Kathua, in Samba, in Jammu, in Riyasi, in Doda, in Poonch, in Rajouri. These were things that almost never happened.
You and Rahul Gandhi, is it personal chemistry that's brought you together, or just because you all are desperate to defeat the BJP at all costs?
Rahul and I had nothing to do with the way this played out. It was really the sort of the leadership of the party after us that put this into place. The leadership of the Congress in Jammu and Kashmir with my colleagues, and then subsequently discussions when Mr. K.C. Venugopal and Salman Khurshid Saab and others came here.
Because the buzz in Delhi was that it is Rahul Gandhi who persuaded Omar Abdullah, no, Omar, you have to contest and lead this alliance. Not true?
No conversations with Rahul about the elections at all.
I saw that picture. You, Rahul Gandhi, Farooq Abdullah, Mallikarjun Kharge, you had a cup of tea like this, that's all?
Yeah, we had a cup of tea. We talked about everything that was going on in the country. Obviously, there was, some talk about the general mood regarding elections, but there was no seat-sharing discussion or agenda or stuff like that.
But is this alliance basically because you've realized that unless you all come together, it's advantage BJP, and that's what happened in 2014. Is that a wake-up call that divided you fall, united you have a half a chance?
Well, for us, it was more about perception. For us, it was important to put to rest this sort of story that some of our opponents sought to plant, that we have a secret alliance with the BJP. Particularly after a recent court case judgment in Srinagar. That was used as some sort of evidence of a secret understanding with the BJP. So for us to put that piece of gossip to rest once and for all, an alliance with the Congress was necessary. And of course, there will be benefits in terms of ensuring that in some areas the votes don't get split.
Is there chemistry on the ground between the workers? Or is there the usual tension that's going to take place if I don't get a ticket from one of the two parties, I contest as an independent?
There has been that fallout as well. There has been that in areas. But fortunately, we fought the recent parliament elections together in all 5 seats in J&K. So we do have recent experience of working on the same side.
But you kept your other old friend, if I may call her that, Mehbooba Mufti, out of this. You all were all part of the India Alliance. I remember last year seeing all of you together as part of the India Alliance, and now you've kept her aside.
Well, we haven't. She chose to stay away. She chose to put up candidates.
You didn't reach out to her. You didn't reach out to her.
Look, we are not the bigger party of the India Alliance. The Congress is. It's not our job to reach out.
Why do you think you lost the Lok Sabha elections of 2024? Has the National Conference lost some of its firepower, particularly in North Kashmir?
That election was fought on sentiment, pure sentiment.
And this election?
This is going to be more than that. That was.
What is more than that?
You had one person fighting that election, whose sons went out and told people all of 2 things. Vote for my father, otherwise he's going to be hanged, which was a lie. And vote for my father because you have to bring him out of jail, which was also an exaggeration. Because you don't come out of jail by winning an election. If you did, then Arvind Kejriwal would not be in jail right now.
Your own quote, I may not even be allowed to appoint a peon, suggests to me that even if you become the chief minister, next chief minister, it's a crown of thorns, very different in a way to 2008.
I'm not aspiring to that office.
You're not aspiring.
I'm not aspiring to that office.
That's why you're contesting.
I'm not aspiring to that office. I'm not setting myself up for that office. I'm not thinking beyond the 8th of October. At this point in time, all I am interested in is ensuring a majority for the National Conference Congress Alliance.
When Rahul Gandhi tied up with Akhilesh Yadav, they were branded as UP ke ladke. What do we now call you and Rahul Gandhi? Kashmir ke ladke? Am I speaking to someone hoping to be the next chief minister? जब भी मैं ये सवाल पूछता हूँ, आपके चेहरे पे मुस्कुराहट आती है. You're supposed to be part of an India alliance, and they've left you out. It almost seems that they don't want to touch the PDP.
अगर बीजेपी आपके पास आती है कि हमें सरकार बनानी है, उनको आपकी जरूरत पड़ती है, आप किस तरफ जाएंगे?
आप मुझे कह रहे हैं कि 5 साल पहले आप आइसक्रीम नहीं खा सकते थे लाल चौक में. Okay, from Kashmir, let's turn to Maharashtra, where we've seen another hit-and-run shocker last night. This time, a luxury car owned by the Maharashtra BJP chief's son. The Audi was seen ramming into multiple cars, injuring 2. While the BJP's chief's son fled the scene, police have arrested 2, except for Sanket Bawankule, the man who is the son of the BJP chief. Will the Maharashtra government swing into action in another hit-and-run case? Take a look.
An
Audi car owned by Sanket Bawankule, son of Maharashtra BJP President Chandrasekhar Bawankule, was involved in a series of collisions late night on September 9th in Nagpur. The car with 3 occupants struck multiple vehicles as it sped towards Manipur. At a T-point, the Audi collided with a Polo car. The passengers of the Polo chased and managed to stop the Audi, but the 3 individuals inside, including Bawankule, fled the scene. Later, 2 were arrested and no action was taken against Sanket.
मी कुठल्याही पोलीस यंत्रणेची आता बोललो नाही. त्यांना जे आढळेल सीसीटीव्ही मध्ये किंवा जे काही त्याच्यामध्ये गुन्हा दाखल होईल तो सर्वांसाठी न्यायासारखा असला पाहिजे. कोणी राजकारणाचा असो कोणी असो, पण मला जे वाटतं पोलिसांनी पूर्ण इन्क्वायरी केली पाहिजे, सीसीटीव्ही सर्व्हेलन्स तपासले पाहिजे आणि योग्य कारवाई केली पाहिजे.
शिवसेना UBT MP संजय राउत has alleged a cover-up.
और जो बड़े बाप के बेटे होते हैं उनका एफआईआर में नाम तक नहीं है, और किसी पार्टी का नेता का ये लड़का होता तो अब तक फडणवीस की फौज हमारे पर इतना हमला कर देती. देवेंद्र फडणवीस, आप उस पद पर बैठने के लिए लायक नहीं हो.
Deputy Chief Minister Devendra Fadnavis has urged political leaders not to politicize the issue.
ऐसा है कि उसकी पूरी जांच पुलिस कर रही है और उसमें एफआईआर भी पुलिस ने दाखिल किया हुआ है. उसके सारे तथ्य भी पुलिस ने सामने लाए हुए हैं. अब जिस प्रकार से उसके ऊपर राजनीति की जा रही है, मुझे लगता है वो गलत है. इस प्रकार से बावनकुळे जी को टारगेट करने का विचार रखते हुए उसके ऊपर राजनीति करना ये ठीक नहीं है.
The police has denied any political pressure on the investigation.
गुन्हा दाखिल करने में कुछ देरी हुई और कुछ छुपाया गया, ऐसा भी कहा गया.
नहीं, ऐसा कुछ नहीं. पॉलिटिकल प्रेशर किसी का नहीं है. जो कायदेशीर प्रक्रिया है पुलिस उसके ऊपर काम कर रही है.
As the investigation continues, all eyes are on how the case unfolds and whether the charges will be applied uniformly. Bureau Report, India Today.
Let's hope the culprits are not allowed to get away. Okay, let's turn to our Get Real India story today, and it comes with the festival season just around the corner. Domestic airfare prices are skyrocketing once again. While the centre says it's keeping a close tab, the government maintains there isn't much that it can do. Business Today does a spot check of return fares that you will have to pay around Diwali time. Here's a report with all the details.
For those planning to fly home for Diwali, get ready to pay out of your nose. The Festival of Lights is more than 7 weeks away, but skyrocketing airfare already dampening the festive mood. A visit to a travel agent or airline website only leaves you with the prospect of coughing up extortionary airfares. Business Today did a spot check of return fare on various routes for the dates Wednesday, October 30th to Sunday, 3rd November. Diwali falls on Friday, 1st November this year. On metro routes, fare on these days were anywhere between 50 to 200% higher. We particularly avoided the red-eye flights. Bengaluru to Delhi return fare start at a whopping 25,000 rupees, while Hyderabad to Delhi were a little more affordable, but at 15,500 rupees. Tickets from Chennai to Delhi and back, however, start at 23,000 rupees. Non-metro routes like Mumbai, Patna, Mumbai, also ludicrously expensive at 30,000 rupees. Mumbai Lucknow return starts at 18,000 rupees. Interestingly, those beginning their holiday earlier on October 26th Saturday have to dish out even more. For this week-long break, Mumbai-Delhi return tickets start at 20,000 rupees, while the cost of Bengaluru-Delhi return ticket rises to 27,000 rupees. Chennai to Delhi tickets for this weekend travel start at 27,500 rupees. The government has taken cognizance of the issue but is unable to do much.
प्रॉब्लम ये है कि हम सीमित नहीं कर सकते, ये ऐसा लॉ नहीं है कि हम उसको एक सीमित रखें, वो मार्केट ड्रिवन चलता है। तो इस तरह जब डिमांड बढ़ जाता है तो उनके वहां से भी थोड़ा एक दो बार हो जाता है, पर अभी तक हम मॉनिटर कर रहे हैं कि जब भी अगर कोई ऑफ द रिकॉर्ड प्राइस चला जाए अगर जहां पे भी नजर आता है कि कहीं से कुछ ज्यादा ही प्राइस बढ़ रहा है तो उस टाइम मिनिस्ट्री के तरफ से तो सजेस्टिवली जो करना होगा वो करेंगे।
It's not as if the travelers have other options available. Trains are already booked for the period, waiting list extending into hundreds. Indian Railways will be running some special trains, but the rush is so high that bookings on some route have already been closed. Experts blame the rise in airfare on the changing scenario in the Indian sky. Go Air, a major airline till 2 years ago, has folded wings. SpiceJet is financially strapped. 20-strong fleet of SpiceJet is literally flying on a wing and a prayer. The Indian airspace is now virtually a duopoly with Indigo on one side and the Tata-owned Air India Vistara combined and Air India Express AirAsia India on the other. And the spike in airfare is despite an 18% drop in aviation fuel prices this calendar year. Bureau Report, Business Today Television.
Okay, flying is going to be risky business for your pocket this Diwali, but you could maybe take a flight with Elon Musk. His SpaceX has launched a rocket with a 4-person crew from Florida today. The mission's commander, Jared Isaacman, took off along with 3 others on the Falcon 9 rocket. Isaacman is a billionaire who's aiming to perform the first private spacewalk and venture further than anyone since NASA's Apollo moonshots. We leave you with those images. You stay well, stay safe. Good night, Shubhratri. Jai Hind, Namaskar.